North Carolina's fastest growing town is right next to Raleigh. In fact, most of the 15 fastest growing towns in North Carolina are all sitting around one city, and that city is Raleigh, North Carolina. But most buyers are looking in the wrong spot because the fastest growing town in the whole state isn't one of the names that you'd guess. It's a place where most people just drive past. So if you're new here, my name is Marti. I've lived in Raleigh for years, and I help people figure out where they really fit in the triangle housing market. So let's get into all of this growth and the spots that you should keep your eye on. The Raleigh area is running away with the state's growth. So here's the thing, the new numbers are in, and 9 out of the 15 fastest growing towns in North Carolina are in the triangle around Raleigh. And yes, 9 out of 15. And 7 of those sit right inside of Wake County. And the other 2 are Angier and Four Oaks. They're just south of us in the Raleigh commuter ring. So when I say this area is growing, I mean it. Nearly half of the 50 fastest growing towns in the whole state are right here in the Raleigh-Cary metro area. So now you want to know how big this really is? Well, Raleigh just crossed 500,000 people for the first time. But it's not just Raleigh. Apex passed 80,000 in population. Holly Springs passed 50,000. Garner passed 40,000, all in the same batch of numbers. And so I'll go back to this kind of growth later when we talk about Wendell as well. So keep watching. Now, this is happening for a reason. North Carolina brought in more movers from other states than anywhere else in our country last year. People are packing up and choosing to come here on purpose. So these little towns around Raleigh aren't some local fluke. They're catching a big piece of the biggest moving wave in this country. And this is a wave. It's landing right on top of us. And you know, after 40 years of watching this city grow, I can tell you that this kind of jump doesn't happen quietly. What all this growth actually cost. But I'm getting ahead of myself because fast growth has a downside to it, and I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't. So when this many people show up this fast, the main roads get backed up, and traffic is the #1 thing that you'll hear people gripe about out here, and they're not wrong. The roads, the intersections, the whole setup is racing to keep up with all the new rooftops that are being built. And in some spots, there's more building going on than there are finished places to enjoy. So parts of these towns still feel half-built, like they're stuck in the middle of a makeover. And if you drive out there expecting a polished, finished suburb, that's not quite what you'll find yet. And I've got to be straight with you because I don't want you to show up and be surprised or disappointed. And you'll notice that we will also talk about some big developments as we go along. Now here's the flip side, and this is the part that matters if you're buying a home here. That lag is the exact reason home prices haven't caught up yet. You're buying the area before it finishes arriving, not afterwards. And the good news is help is on the way for that traffic. The complete 540 project is being built right now with the full loop set to wrap up in 2028. There's a new stretch adding 5 new intersections that will open up this side of the county in a big way. Knowing this trade-off saves you from a big issue. A lot of folks write these towns off because they notice that the growing pains are there. The smart buyers see that strain for what it is. It's a sign that they are early, not a sign that they're wrong. And by the way, if you're thinking about living in Wake County but you're not totally sure, I'd love to help you. Send me an email using the information below and I'll send you my full Raleigh relocation guide. No pressure. Reach out anytime. I want you to meet the town that beat the entire state. Okay, let's talk about the town that beat everybody. It's Wendell. Pronounced not Wendell, Wendell, just east of Raleigh, and it took the #1 spot in all of North Carolina for growth. For starters, Wendell grew 17.3% in a single year, and that was the highest of any town in our state. And get this, its population basically doubled since the last count, going from 10,000 to nearly 20,000 people. Now that's a lot of new neighbors in a really short time. So what's driving it? The engine here is Wendell Falls. a 1,100-acre community that's already sold more than 2,300 homes, with still more coming. And it's not just houses. There's a town center called Treelight Square with restaurants, coffee shops, and stores, plus a saltwater pool, a gym, a dog park, and more than 10 miles of walking and biking trails right in the neighborhood. So you can grab a coffee, walk the dog, meet up with friends without ever getting in your car. This easy, everyday living is really what people are moving here for. And you know what I love about Wendell? It's still got the walkable small town downtown, the kind of place with locally owned spots and real character, and you get the brand new community perks and that Main Street feel all at the same time. So if you're looking for something like that, stick with me, because we'll see more areas that have their own lifestyle. But here's the fact that surprises even me. This town is growing up fast. Wake Tech opened its newest campus right on Wendell Boulevard, exit back in April of '24, and 2 more buildings are set to open here in 2026. Also, right across the road sits the Wendell Commerce Center, a 257-acre project bringing in stores, apartments, and a lot of space for businesses. So this isn't a sleepy bedroom town anymore. It's building a real economy with jobs and shopping coming right to your doorstep. And now the payoff, the part you actually came for. On price, Wendell middle home price runs around the high 300s against roughly the high 400s to mid 500s across Wake County. So you're looking at a real gap. You're going to get more house for your money out here, plain and simple. And before we talk about more insights for home buyers, let me show you 2 more spots that are worth your attention. Zebulon and Eastern Wake County are the value play right now. Closely behind Wendell, there's another town you should keep your eye on, and that's Zebulon, Wendell's neighbor to the east. And it grew by 13.9%, the second fastest in our whole state. So who actually lives out here? A lot of first-time home buyers with families who want Wake County without the Wake County price tag. Because Zebulon is the most affordable town in this group, with a median home price sitting in the low 300s. And you'll get some of the most land per dollar you'll find east of Raleigh. So if space is what you're after, your money goes the furthest right here in Zebulon. Not only that, but the choices are real. New homes run the range from townhomes to starter homes to older resale places. So you're not stuck with just one kind of house to choose from. And that's the kind of choice that you don't always get in the pricier suburbs, where everything's already built and locked in. Zebulon's downtown is waking up too. There's a little cluster of new spots popping up around the old town square. And there's a new brewery, new places to eat, that kind of thing that sits right next to shops that have been there for decades. And so you get a fresh energy and deep roots in the very same spot. And the town's got a nice set of parks and a greenway, so there's plenty of room to spread out on a Saturday. It feels like a place that's growing into its own. So now here's something that changes the whole math. Many people work from home part of the week now. A drive you once made 2 or 3 days a week hits a lot differently. As one of the agents on my team put it, when you're only in the office 2 or 3 days, a 30-minute drive isn't a big deal. It's worth it to get newer, cheaper, or more land. And sometimes all 3 at once is sounding good to more home buyers. And that leads us right into the next thing, the work on I-540 plus I-87 running through Wendell keeps making it easier to get across the county and into Research, Triangle Park, and Raleigh. So that far out feeling that these towns once had are shrinking a little more every year. And what feels like a hike today is going to feel a lot closer once the road work wraps up. So let's bring this all home. What does that really mean for you if you're buying a home? If Raleigh, Cary, and Apex feel out of reach, and for a lot of buyers right now they do, the east is where your dollar still stretches. That's just how the map looks right now. The value moved this way, and that's where it's landed. And getting into Wendell or Zebulon now means buying ahead of the crowd that keeps pushing east. So you're not chasing the market. So now, if you already own a home out here, I want you to hear me on this. You're sitting on exactly what the market wants. And that's a good spot to be in, and it's worth knowing what you've got. Yes, you give up a few things for that value. You put up with a little bit of traffic, and you live in a small town that's still partly under construction, but you know, for a lot of buyers, that trade is worth it while the prices still make sense. So I've watched this play out across the triangle for decades, and the spots that feel a little rough around the edges today are the ones that people wish they bought into sooner. The finish line always comes, the prices just don't wait for it. So now you know why the fastest growing town in all of North Carolina is sitting right on Raleigh's doorstep. And the strain everybody's complaining about is the exact reason the value is still there. That window doesn't stay open forever. And the folks who spot it early are the ones that win in massive equity gain in the next 3 to 5 year window. That means if you're trying to figure out where you fit around Raleigh, that's the conversation to have before you start touring homes. Reach out to me at Marti at martihampton.com, and I'll send you my full Raleigh relocation guide and help match you with the right town for your lifestyle. And if you want to know where all this growth is headed next, I've got a video linked right here breaking down Raleigh's top suburbs that are set to explode in 2026, and it picks up right where this one leaves off, so check it out. Appreciate you watching. See you next time.